Hi everybody, it's Annette from The Art of Intuition. Today we're going to talk about why we should never dismiss our dreams. I heard this today on the radio, so it did make me want to do a video about how we brush off our dreams, what they mean. We don't really delve into them. We minimize them. So I want everyone to think of the dream world as just as real as this world. Now, I've done a lot of videos on why they appear disjointed, they appear not related, but they're all related in some sense. And the more you expand your consciousness, the more you have ability to see. And once you have more ability to see, then you have an ability to kind of sort through it a little bit. But you kind of got to get to the part where you can sort through it a little bit. In the beginning, when you're first starting to open up to dreaming and you're starting to see all this stuff, it's vivid, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Some of it can be violent, some of it can be just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. We have to really dig deep into what we're trying to tell ourselves. Because remember, the dream world is real. It's just not in this physical reality, so it feels disjointed. But everything happening is you happening somewhere else. And I've said it a zillion times, there's no closed systems. The dream world is real and it will bleed over. What are you seeing? Well, you can be seeing a lot of stuff. You could be seeing something that's warning you because something is about to happen. I hate to say a warning dream because the minute I say a warning dream, any type of precognitive dream, people get it triggers a lot of fear. But a lot of times, we will have a little bit of a peek when something's going to come that's going to be very hard for a human to handle. If someone's going to pass away, if someone's going to leave our life, it doesn't really matter if we're going to lose our job. It doesn't really matter what would be traumatic to your human. But most of the time you see something first in your dream world because it helps you start severing the cords to it. You're starting to process what your human would view as a loss. You're starting to mourn it. So be aware of that. That might not be the purpose of that specific dream you're dismissing, but it could be. Sometimes we're clearing just different timelines, and we don't really have to be too involved in it. We're going to clear things that aren't going to happen here, because we're going to see different realities that exist in a different level of consciousness that we're going to try to anchor into this one. We're just not there yet. There are many reasons we dream, but you have to get to a point with your consciousness where you understand sort of what the dream is. Don't just dismiss it. I heard someone on the radio this morning talking about a dream, and they were everyone on the radio with him was immediately like dismissing it. Oh, don't worry about it, it's this, don't worry about it, it's this. But the dream affected the person. So if a dream affects you, it's affecting you for a reason. Look at it. If it's a repeating dream, it's a recurring dream, look at it. Do a little research. If you see something in a dream, what does that mean? And it doesn't mean go to a dream diary and see what somebody else thinks it means. How do you feel about it? If you feel really affected by the dream, you need to look at it. If you wake up and you said that was kind of weird, but you have no emotion around it, maybe you don't. But in the beginning, be conscious of them. The more conscious you are, the more you open up to that world and say, I want to look deeper into what's going on in this dream world with me, the more you'll dream more, the more you'll gain more access. You can almost be trusted with it because you're going to see more. Years ago, I kept dream diaries of every dream I ever had. I dissect them. I would look at every piece of them. I looked at the timelines of them. And then I got to a point where I kind of could segregate my dreams into a couple of different categories. Even though there were a million categories, but I could kind of get them into different ones. You know, this was something I was clearing. Different timelines, distorted timelines. I'm clearing it from my field. I don't need to so much worry about it. It was interesting, but I don't have a lot of emotion around it. 2, there's a character in my dream. That's me, but a version of me I don't really recognize, but I know it's me, and I'm integrating in another aspect of myself. And it's usually just the beginning, that initial merge with that aspect, and then I've got to clear out everything that doesn't align with the energy of that aspect. So if I'm having a one-on-one conversation with a person, That's usually when I'm starting to open a portal to something I step through. I'll see something that I want to occur here. Maybe me talking in front of thousands of people. It doesn't really matter what it is, but it's something I know that's going to occur here. It's just not here yet. So then I start working toward that dream, working toward anchoring that in here. What do I have to do to get that? And that's what I'll start that next morning. Okay, I just opened it up. I can see it. I can tee it up. It's there. Now I got to bring it here. What do I got to do do that? The warning dreams, where it's telling me where certain people are and if certain people are going to leave my life, when certain people might leave my life, helping me disconnect from people in my life because they can't really be in the next phase of my life. So I'm usually on that spectrum somewhere. I don't require writing them down anymore. But if you've never really wrote them down, if you've never really respected your dream space, it might be time to do that. Don't just dismiss it. If it affects you, it's worth looking into. It's worth opening it up. What you're doing is you're telling yourself, hey, I'm open to this. Give me more. But you gotta be a little bit of an archaeologist. Years ago, I took a class by Robert Moss. I took a couple of his classes on dreaming. So interesting. I really enjoyed them. So if you're interested in that, look up his work. It's really good. It's really interesting to kind of open you up. Remember, everything's just going to open you up. But he would say, be a dream archaeologist. That was his phrase. That's what he would say. And I think we have to be. There are certain times in our life when we have to be. Because if these things happen during our waking state, to the traumatic events that are happening in our dream state, you would take notice to it. You wouldn't just walk by it and be like, oh, that was weird. You look at it if you feel affected by it. It's no different than here. It's just you don't have a context for it. So you feel like it's different. So, happy hunting. I keep practicing the art of intuition.